make profile pictures like this and this, then you clicked on the right video. I'm going to be teaching you how to make the best possible profile picture for your YouTube channel. Everything you will need for this video is provided at the top of the description. And no, it's not a virus. Now let's hop into Blender and get this tutorial started. When y'all open up the file, it should look like this. If it looks like this, go up to the top right up here and then click on this little beach ball up here. And then you just want to click on your gorilla, come down to this beach ball, and then right here, you can just put in your color code. So I'm just going to put in a random color code. That looks fine. And then you can put in a cosmetic of your choice. So I'm just going to put in the party hat, and then depending on how it's rotated up here, if something says 90 degrees, you can just set it to 0, put it on your gorilla how it should look. And once you have it positioned correctly, you're just going to want to tap on the cosmetic first and then shift click the rig, go up to pose mode, and then depending on whether it's a head cosmetic or a body cosmetic or something, you can click that bone and then press Control P, and it should bring up this menu. Then you can just press bone, and then down here press keep transform. Now we're going to fix the texture for the cosmetic. Click on the cosmetic, go down to the beach ball, click on this drop down right here, change the thing that says linear to closest, and then you see these words right here. You're just going to want to go to the textures tab of that cosmetics file and just look for whatever those words are. So mine says hatless, so I'm going to find hatless, and boom, there's the texture for the party hat. Now click on your rig again, and this is optional, but I think it just makes it look better. I like to add this little eye shine down here just to give the profile picture a little more life. Now you can start to pose. To start posing, you can click on this star right here, go over here and click IK, and then you should be able to see, like, you can move your hands like this and the whole rig goes with it. Also, if you want your name tag in here, you can click this thing right here and then the name tag should pop up. And to change the name tag, you're just going to want to click on the words and then click tab on your keyboard, and then you can just edit whatever it wants to say. But for my profile pictures, I do not like to have the name tag in it. I'm just going to start off with posing his left hand real quick. Alright, once you have the hand position, you may notice that the elbow back here looks a little bit weird. So I'm just going to grab this little blue ball right here and then drag it up forward like this to just line it up and make it look a little bit better. Now I'm going to do the face. I might do a little bit of an open mouth right here. Take the teeth up and then the tongue up a little bit like that. I may do the eyelids in just a little bit like that just to make them look happier. And then we'll have them looking up this way like that. Now I'm just going to take the head and then make it look up sort of like that. That did mess up the hand though, so I'm just going to try and position it back and make it look a little bit better. And you can really leave the other arm the same depending on what pose you want, but I might have this one just a little bit like not as straight, you know? Now that you're done with that, you can go out of pose mode and then go over to this little menu over here. Go to where it says film and then check where it says transparent. Now go to this panel right here that says output, change this to 4000 and then change the other one to 4000 as well. Now you can go into the camera view, just position the camera however you want it to look. It makes it easier to position the camera how you want by clicking on the rig and then going up here and then hiding the rig. I think something like this looks pretty great. Now to see what the final rendered version would look like, you're going to want to come up here to this little like shading thing, and then you're going to click on that and you can see what it's going to look like whenever you render it. You can adjust some of the lights over here if you want, but I think it looks really great like this. Once you're happy with what you have, go to where it says render image, and then just give it a second. And then once it is done, go to where it says image up here, save, and then just save it to wherever you want to save it. Make sure whenever you save it that this over here, the file format is in PNG and this is set to RGBA. Once you're done with that, you can save it and then close out of Blender. So depending on what software you choose, the menu may look a little bit different, but you want to make sure the height is set to 1080 and then the width is also set to 1080, and then you can just name it whatever you want to. It should look like this now with just a blank white screen, so you can drag in your profile picture render from Blender, and then I'm just going to delete the background. Now in the Google Drive, there should be preset backgrounds for you to use. These backgrounds are custom made by me. I'm going to go with a darker green, scale that up to fit, and then I'm just going to press Control J to duplicate the layers over here, and then I'm going to take this one, set it to screen, go up here to filter, blur, and then add a Gaussian blur. You can set this to whatever you want, but I like it at 15, and then you can just duplicate that another time or however many times you want, and then you can combine these layers by pressing Control E or just right clicking and pressing merge layers. Then once you have them merged, go up to filter again and then just press Gaussian blur again just to give it a little bit more blur. Now just drag it behind that and boom, you have a pretty good background. Now for the actual render, you're going to want to click on it, go up to where it says filter, then add a camera raw. Then you can just mess around with these however you want. I like to up the contrast and vibrance a good bit. Keep the exposure low because if it goes too high, it'll start looking like that, which is not something you want. Highlights low, whites low, and then you can drag these down a good bit just to make it look a little bit better. Texture, you want to keep like pretty high, but nothing crazy. Clarity, it does a lot to your profile picture, so you want to keep it low, and then that's the same for dehaze. You also want to keep that low. And then come down to sharpening, and then just turn that up a good bit, and then the noise reduction and the other stuff. Went from this to that. See, much better. And now we're gonna add what I like to call the Gorilla Glow. We're gonna make another copy of the Gorilla by pressing Control J. Then we're gonna come down here and we're gonna add a solid color. Make sure that this color is white, and then you can either press Control Alt G, or you can just right click and press Create Clipping Mask. Now you're gonna merge these layers together and then drag it under the first gorilla. Now come up to where it says Filter, then press Gaussian Blur, and then you can see a little bit of it show up. But to make it show up a little bit more, you can copy and paste the layer multiple times. And that's why it's called Gorilla Glow, because it adds a glow around the gorilla, and it just makes it look way better in my opinion. Once you are done, you're gonna want to go to Export, Export As, make sure it's on JPEG, and then turn the quality all the way up, and then you can just export it. And boom, that's how you make a profile picture like me. But if you don't have any of these things like Blender or Photoshop, or you're just not as skilled, I do live streams a lot where I make free profile pictures for my viewers. So if you do want a free profile picture without having to do any work, just show up to my live streams and maybe you'll get one. Bye!